Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a tanky Senna updated complete guide. Now this is a really kind of interesting build that I'm going to cover in a while, but before that, of course, I'm going to recommend you guys to check out Senna's basic guide that we posted. I'll put it up in the cards above to, of course, check out her skills, leveling order, tips and tricks, as well as her combos. So, got this build off of Broken Support on YouTube. However, I did change it up a little bit. Because I only go for the first two items, the same as that build, but I changed the final items, and I'm gonna explain what this build is all about and how it works. So I'm gonna actually change things up a bit, and instead of talking about the build, I'm gonna talk about the runes first, because really the build comes from why you're doing this build comes from like the runes and comes from other reasons as well. So first up, the main thing the whole build is centered around is actually Grasp of the Undying. So Grasp of the Undying, every 3 seconds in combat you get an enhanced attack on the enemy champion. So this enhanced attack is going to do bonus magic damage. This scales off of your health as well as your AD and AP. And the heal scales off of your health. And then you get a 5 permanent health increase. However, on ranged champions like Senna, the effects are reduced by 60%. So this basically means that you're only getting 40% of the effect. And Senna, before Kraken Slayer came out, used to actually take Grasp because she just didn't have anything better to take. Now, I believe that now Kraken Slayer is still the best rune for Senna, but this is a very specific like tank focused build which centers around this rune. So I think this is probably the second best rune to take. I don't think other runes like Glacial are very good on Senna, but that's just my opinion. So the main reason why we are building this build is we want to build AD and health to scale off of, to get the scaling for Grasp of the Undying. So for the runes, we're going for the Resolve tree itself, and this is going to give us more defensive capabilities as well as more health. So first up, we have Font of Life. So Font of Life scales off of health and AP. So since we're already building health, this is going to give a sizable heal to both ourselves as well as our teammates, because of course we're playing support. So we still go for Bone Plating for, of course, the anti-burst and the defensive stats in the lane. And then we go for Overgrowth. So what Overgrowth does is whenever 2 minions or a monster are killed nearby, you permanently gain 3 max health. And of course, your max health can go, you can get, unlimited amount of health from the rune. And when you reach 30 stacks, you get an additional 3.5% max health. But 3.5% is not going to give you as much as a tank, because obviously Senna's tank stats are not as good. But since you're building a lot of health in your build as well, this is going to actually be quite a lot after a while. And don't forget that you don't have to be the one killing the minions or monsters. You just have to die nearby. So this already goes in conjunction with Senna, because Senna already wants to be nearby when minions and monsters are getting killed, so that she can get the souls from her passive. So in lane you can get basically 2 stacks per wave, because 2 minions are going to die per wave. And then if you are passing by the jungle and whatnot when the jungler is farming, you can of course get the stacks off of jungle camps as well, because they're dying near you. So this is kind of one of the key ways that you're going to get bonus HP. And finally, Mana Flow Ban, because Senna runs out of mana really quickly, and you're not building Mana Mune, and you just need a source of mana. If not, you're going to be useless in the sense that you can't cast your abilities. So now we're going to talk about the items. So for the items, of course, we start off with the Spectral Sickle. Best support item you can go on Senna, because you want to be poking people and attacking people anyway. Senna has a relatively strong laning phase where you should be auto-attacking and queuing people, so you should have no problem stacking Spectral Sickle. However, if you're in a lane where you really cannot do that, for example, you're against Draven Nautilus, then you can take the Ancient Coin, but don't take the Relic Shield, or try to avoid taking the Relic Shield. It's still okay in some circumstances, or if you like taking Relic Shield, but in general I don't really like it. So our first item is going to be Black Cleaver. So Black Cleaver is mainly, we're getting it because it's cheap and it has good stats. If you take a look at Black Cleaver, it costs 3k gold, whereas Divine Thunder costs 3450, which is a lot more expensive. So what Black Cleaver gives us is mainly the stat line. So you're getting 350 health, 40 AD, 20 ability haste, which are amazing stats, and in addition you get that rage passive for the movement speed, of course really helpful for Senna, combining with her own movement speed from her passive. And finally you also get the Sunder passive. So most people think that Black Cleaver isn't so good because the Sunder is so hard to stack, unless you're someone like Zeri or like Ashe, or even champions like Pantheon or Renekton, who have very quick ways to apply Sunder stacks, or Sunder stacks I should say. it's really difficult to apply Thunder stacks, and this is true. So Senna, the good thing about her is that she can use her Q to apply the stacks onto everybody, but the bad thing is she puts on the stacks really slow. So the misconception is that Black Cleaver is mainly built for this passive, but it really isn't. Black Cleaver is mainly for the stats. Like, the main part about Black Cleaver is it gives you the health, AD, and ability haste, as well as the rage passive. The Thunder passive isn't too important, so don't have to worry too much about that. So next up, we go for defensive boots. So even in my carry build on Senna, I also go for defensive boots because Senna is incredibly squishy and you kind of need defensive boots. And the second reason is Senna really doesn't have very much better boot options. Like, you don't really need Gluttonous Greaves. You already heal from your Q. Berserker's Greaves doesn't help because Senna doesn't work well with attack speed. Boots of Mana doesn't really help. Boots of Dynamism is an option. I've seen some Senna take Boots of Dynamism. You don't really need too much cooldown from the Lucidity Boots. It does work, I guess, so this could be an option as well. But overall, I just think defensive boots now give you so much more value because, for example, Merc Treads gives you 35 resistance and reduces magic damage by 15%. And, of course, Plated Steel Caps does the same, just that it's for armor. And it's by 12% instead of 15%. So overall, I still go for this. And then your second core item is Divine Thunder. So of course, this gives you, again, 400 max health, 25 AD, and ability haste. Of course, basically the stat line is the worst version of Black Cleaver. It gives you the exact same stats, but it gives you less, basically. Of course, you get a little bit more ability haste, actually. But, of course, you do get the Spellblade passive, which gives you a lot of extra damage. It's gonna scale off of your enemy's max health, so this works very well against tanks and also heals you a little bit. Of course, effects are reduced a little bit because Senna is ranged, but still, it's really good. So this is basically her core build. Like, these two items are your core build together with the Merc Treads. For the enchant, you have a couple of options. Generally, the best option is gonna be the I forgot what this is called, the Revival enchant. I don't know what this is called, but yeah, it's the Rejuvenation Cup or whatever this is called. It's the one that increases your healing or shielding effect on enemy champions, because in this build you're not really trying to carry, you're being a lot more utility based, so you want to get this, of course, to help your team and heal them up by more. But if you really need like a stasis or something like that to survive, you can go for a stasis. And the last two items are completely situational, so you have basically 6 options for your last item. First up is going to be Moral Reminder. Gives you penetration as well as grievous wounds. Of course, good against tanky teams and good against teams with a lot of healing. And your next option is Navori Quick Blades, because by this point you should have, by the time you reach building Navori Quick Blades, you should have already gotten to the point where you have about 45% crit chance, or if you're fed in some matches you have like 60% crit chance. So Navori Quick Blades adding at 25% crit chance is going to put you to nearly 100% crit. They're going to be at like a good 85% crit or a 70% crit, which is more than enough for Navori Quick Blades to be a good item. So you don't even need to build crit because you already have crit from your passive. So Navori Quick Blades gives you your cooldown a lot faster. This is very important for your Q and your W, especially. You can spam your Q a lot more, you can spam your W a lot more, and it's a really good item. However, in some matches, you just need a rapid fire cannon to just get up that one long range auto, and you know, sometimes that changes the entire complexion of that team fight or the trait. Like, if you can get off a rapid fire cannon auto into a Q, that could chunk someone out. In some matches, you become like a carry where you are playing basically in the backline and you have to DPS, and that's where Harunan's Hurricane becomes good, because it allows you to attack multiple people at the same time. So then, some matches you just need Ensign Shield, so you could go for Serpent's Fang, or in some matches you just need the Spell Shield, so you could go for Edge of Night. And in addition, Edge of Night also gives you 250 max health, which of course scales off, helps you to scale your Grasp of the Undying Rune as well. Finally, for the spells, you generally go for Heal and Flash because you're playing support. You could go for something like Exhaust as well, but with all that said, let's jump into talking about our gameplay. Okay, now that we've covered the build, let's jump into the gameplay, and the first thing I want to do is explain why would you want to build this build instead of the carry build. Well, it's a pretty simple reason. With the carry build, you're basically full glass cannon. Like, if you're, you know, jumped on by an assassin, you're dead instantly. With this build, you do less damage, but you still do a decent amount of damage, and you're a lot more tankier, so you can survive a lot more situations. You will see in this match just how many situations that I survived, that if I was playing a full damage carry Senna, I would definitely have died like an extra 3 to 4 times in this match. You guys will see a little bit later on. But I actually pretty much love this build at the moment, because remember that as a support, you're always playing with an ADC, so you should always have an ADC, unless you're playing Senna as the main carry together with another champion in the bot lane, champions like Galio or Gragas, something like that. If not, if you're playing like Senna in solo queue, you're always going to play with an ADC. So you are never really the main carry. Even if you're building like full on damage, you're never really the main carry, because they're generally, your ADC is generally the main carry. Of course, unless they're feeding and you're getting all the kills, then you kind of become the main carry. But either way, generally you should be the main carry. You should be like a secondary carry for your team. So this build, I feel, kind of gives you all the stats a secondary carry wants. You get decent damage from, you know, Black Cleaver, Divine Thunder, and like Grasp, etc. But at the same time, you are not as squishy as your main carry. Like with the carry build, you basically do like similar damage to your main carry, but you're just as squishy as your main carry. But with this build, you're a lot more tanky, but you do less damage, which I think that for the purposes of a secondary carry, because you don't need pure damage, I think it's actually really, really useful. So here you can see, as I mentioned, we're playing very aggressive in lane. We're heavy trading with the enemy team because number one, we do a pretty decent amount of damage. Number two, we can heal off of our Q. And number three, Jhin and Senna are both pretty strong in the early game. So here I land the blind root onto the Janna. I'm able to follow up with a Q auto. Remember, you want to proc your Grasp of the Undying as much as possible. Same logic as Kraken Slayer. So with Senna, you basically always want to trade regardless of the route that you take. Here I hit another beautiful route onto the Janna, and once again I'm like chunking her out at this point. Ezreal gets rooted by Jhin, so I'm able to get off a free auto. Ezreal's now stuck at 1 HP. Here I hit another route on Janna. I honestly thought I got the kill here. I heal myself and Jhin, of course, using my heal summoner, but it doesn't quite work out, and Ezreal does recall. Janna survives, and doesn't really quite work out. So it's, you know, it's all right. It's not too bad. So we're still going to continue playing aggressive and continue getting more Grasp stacks, getting more poke down, you know, all that kind of things. So next thing is, what boots, defensive boots do you get? Well, basically you have to evaluate how much damage the enemy team does. So in this match, I think the biggest threat to me are gonna be Twitch and Akali. So you can see based on the build here already, Twitch is probably going AD because he has a recurve bow. He's not going for Nash's 2s because he doesn't have the Nash's 2 components. Here we're bullying the Ezreal, don't know where the Janna go, and we're able to actually pick up the kill onto Ezreal. Janna comes back, even though I'm caught taking a tower shot, etc. But Janna doesn't have the damage to actually kill me, so we're able to actually finish off the kill. Here I ult to prevent myself from dying from the ignite because I needed the shield from the ulti. Akali sees a juicy low HP Senna, tries to jump in, ends up ulting onto Jhin instead, and just dies under the tower. And then my team basically just cleans up the rest of the situation. So back to the topic at hand, what boots do I get? Well, basically, as I said, you analyze the team. So here Twitch is going for AD, Akali is going for AP. So I can go for either one. So now I'm going to evaluate the rest of the team. So how much AP and AD does the team have? Singed is AP, Ezreal is AD, but Ezreal, even though he's an ADC, his W, his E, and his ult does magic damage. And we're gonna ignore Janna because Janna isn't really a source of damage, but she's like minor AP, I guess you could say. So overall, my evaluation is going for the Merc Treads, which is of course giving MR, is gonna be better because Akali AP, heavy AP, Singed AP, Ezreal partial AP. So overall, I think that Merc Treads is gonna give me more value. Of course, another way to evaluate is you could see who is getting fed, you know, when it's come time to build boots. So here you can see that actually Twitch has 2 kills, whereas Akali is 1, 1, and 2. So at the moment, Twitch is kind of a little bit more fed, but Akali's only like 100 gold behind him, so overall I think it's still similar. Then you can always evaluate and re-evaluate what you need to go for. So here once again, I'm trying to trade aggressively with Ezreal, but you know, he's able to just land some poke on me and not too much I can do about that. So here the dragon is going to be spawning really, really soon. Here me and Jhin are trying to take advantage of the fact that Janna is not around in the lane, and we're trying to actually just, you know, go to town on Ezreal. I managed to hit a Q ult onto Ezreal. Jhin tries to finish him off, but Akali comes in. I managed to land the root onto Akali, and Jhin is able to finish her off. Now we're getting chased by Janna and Twitch. Because Twitch appeared, I have to flash before he manages to stack up on me and kill me with his expunge. But we're able to turn back around and go for the kill onto Janna because Twitch had run too far away. So next up is the dragon. Here I'm going to back because I'm really, really low and I don't want to be caught by invisible Twitch and just get one shot. Speaking of which, here Ezreal tries to kill me. Twitch is now on the chase, but me and Katarina are able to actually finish him off before he can get the kill on me. So this is already like 2 instances where if I was playing like the squishy build of Senna without any health, I would have been in way more trouble and I probably would have died like twice over already. But because of the tanky stats from the Black Cleaver, and obviously we just completed Black Cleaver, but because of the tanky stats from Grasp and from the Black Cleaver components, we are actually able to survive and not die. And you're going to see this happen multiple times throughout the match. And I think that this match is really a very good demonstration of how with this build you are able to not only do damage, but you're also able to be tanky and survive. So here as the support, of course, you want to rotate over to the Rift Herald to help out in taking Rift Herald, which we are able to do. Xin Zhao is calling to go for the top tower where he's going to plot the Herald. Here, I'm trying to see if we can get a catch onto Singe. I'm going to try and land my W over the wall, which I do manage to do. Unfortunately, Twitch is actually here, so I'm stuck in like a 1v1 against the Twitch. Twitch gets knocked out. Here, I'm using my ult to give my team the shield. And unfortunately, Janna is here, but I am able to finish off the kill onto the Twitch with the help of my root. But unfortunately, the tower finishes me off in turn. So in the end, it becomes a trade. Here, Akali is going in to try to clean up. Now we have a 2v2 of Katarina and Ornn versus Akali and Janna. Really exciting 2v2. Both champs on both teams are low HP. Janna tries to flash forward for some reason, gets nothing done and wastes her flash. Here Katarina flashes back in and just ends up flashing in to her death. So yeah, not too hot from my team there. Anyways, now that we've respawned, we're heading to mid lane. Jhin is in a 1v1 against the Twitch in the bottom lane. Here I'm in a 1v1 against the Ezreal. Look at how much damage I'm doing to him, by the way. He's chunked to half health and I have barely lost a quarter of my health. So shows you that, you know, the build does damage at the same time you're really tanky, which is kind of basically why this build is just so good at the moment. So regardless, here I'm just going to clear up this wave since no one is around to take the farm. Stacking my overgrowth at the same time as, of course, getting some farm. Once again, as a Senna, whether you're playing her as a support or like a carry, you can and should always take minions and last hit them if no one else is around, because losing the goal for a chance to get a stack is generally not too worth it. Here I also try to help my Ornn. He's kind of stuck in the jungle 1 versus 3, now 1 versus 4. Of course, he's an Ornn, he's really tanky, so he manages to survive for quite some time, but he does eventually go down. Of course, in a 1v4, really difficult to survive there. Once again, Ezreal is in the mid lane. Here I'm trying to actually land something on him, which I do before he can proc for a strike. So here once again, look at that trait. A W auto Q combo instantly just bursts him down to like half health. So the damage you get from this build is still insane, it's just that you're so much more tanky. Here I actually land the root onto Twitch, but unfortunately Janna actually knocks me up, so I'm not able to follow up very well. Here Twitch is trying to open up on me, but he does get assassinated by Xin Zhao. Here Akali tries to go in on me. I land the root and I'm able to, as you guys can see, finish her off with 1 HP. So once again, without the Black Cleaver and without even the Merc Treads in this case, without the Black Cleaver and the Merc Treads, I would have just died there, and instead I survived the Akali. So this is like the 3rd time in the match that I survived because of the tanky build, essentially. So here, of course, we're building towards Divine Thunder. We want to get the Sheen component first, of course, because it does apply on-hit damage on your auto attacks as well as your Q, of course. So don't hesitate to use your Q to heal your team. Don't forget that at the end of the day, you are still a support. You're not, I mean, you are a carry, but you're not the main carry of your team. So you do need to heal up your team, you know, when you can. So here Akali tries to go onto Ornn, or Ornn tries to go to Akali. Either way, a fight breaks out. Here I try to save Jhin using my ulti, but he dies just a little bit too fast. Katarina comes in and the cavalry has arrived, so we're going to turn back around to, of course, start blasting the enemy team, which we do. Pick up a couple more stacks, and we're going to try to force down this mid lane tower. Me and Katarina us both, and we are able to get it. Here I root the Singe to prevent him from flinging us. And he ends up flinging Katarina into the Ezreal, and Ezreal dies to Katarina. Here we're able to finish off the dragon. Akali tries to come in, ends up dying instead to the Xin Zhao ultimate. Here Twitch trying to come in through the backline. I'm just trying to handle the Twitch while my team gets the kill onto the Singe, and we do manage to do so. Xin Zhao ends up picking up both kills. and ends up going really well for us. So now I'm 4-1-13 at this point. You can see that despite being a support, just based off of my rotations and my kill participation, I've gotten more gold than both Jin and Katarina already. Jin is like just split pushing the whole game. He isn't really team fighting very much. Janna W flies all the way from where I was recalling to where I am now, together with a little bit of first strike. Pretty funny, but yeah. So you can see in terms of gold, we actually have more gold than the entire enemy team at the moment. Turns out that Akali is now kind of feeding, so Twitch turned out to be kind of more bigger issue than Akali. But overall it's still alright. Ezreal and Singe are the most fed on their team, and they both deal some sorts of magic damage, so Merc Threat's still a really good purchase, and you know, it saved my life from the Akali just now, so it's already a good buy regardless of the fact that Akali isn't the one that's fed and it's actually the Twitch. So here you can see I'm walking past while Katarina's taking those jungle monsters. Gonna contribute some stacks to my overgrowth here, and now I'm gonna head back to the middle lane, but not before clearing these wards, which has been revealed by, of course, the Squire's Bloom. Here I ult to try to save Jin once again, but Jin once again dies. I kind of think that using ult to save Jin might be a little bit of a waste at this point, because he isn't doing very well. Katarina gets the kill onto the Singe with my help. Here, Twitch tries to go in. I'm just blasting him down with my auto attacks as well as my Qs and my W as well. Here we are able to finish him off. Here Akali goes onto us again, and we're trying to finish her off. She goes in with the ulti, and you know, she's put to 1 HP. I flashed away because I thought that she would be greedy and ult me even though she's 1 HP and just try to trade 1 for 1. But instead she actually ults over the wall to try to escape. Which it does look like she does manage to escape here. So overall I didn't actually need to flash, but overall it's still the appropriate action to take, which is to flash away from the danger. And here we actually pick up our Divine Sunder. So 2 core items completed already, which is basically the entire core item of this build. But yeah, so here with the current state we're in, we are trying to do the Baron. Enemy team tries to put a stop to it, but we are instead now going to chase the enemy team for some kills. Singe just runs into our entire team. We do pick up the kill onto him. Here Twitch is blasting me. I'm taking a lot of damage from Twitch. I use the ulti for a little bit of a shield. I'm stuck at 1 HP and I'm actually able to run away, but however with the Twitch poison on me, before I can Q, I do end up dying. Just like half a second longer, I would have got the Q off on the Ornn, which would have allowed me to actually heal up. So a little bit unlucky there, but we do end up dying to the Twitch. So here with a couple of us dead, obviously Baron no longer an option, but the good news is that enemy jungle and Singe also dead, so they aren't going to be doing Baron either. In the meanwhile, Jin is now still on his own journey to just push in whatever lanes he wants to, and yes, it's pretty funny, but yeah. So Jin has like no KP, he has like a total of like 7 KP, and I'm like 21 KP at this point in the game, which is pretty funny because you know, the ADC is just not coming to the fight. So I basically have become the main carry of the team in this match already because the Jin is just not with us. So here, because I know the Jin is like useless, he's not really helping us, I'm actually taking the red buff because I'm going to make a lot better use of it. So here the enemy team is threatening Baron. So here we're going to have to tread a little bit carefully. Here Xin Zhao is not spotted. We are able to get assassination onto the enemy jungler. And here we also find the route onto the Singed to get the kill on him. Here I'm trying to stop Akali's back, and we end up chasing for the Akali. Akali's put really low. I actually hit my root while she's in the shroud, but she ends up being able to evade us through walking the other way. I have my flash and my heal, but I don't want to waste them on this Akali. She's still stuck at 1 HP, wasting quite a bit of time. Here Xin Zhao goes to take Baron, and here Katarina does end up finishing up the kill. And now I'm going to quickly head back over to Baron and help my team out. Ornn actually ults the Baron because he's really low and he wants to finish off the Baron, which is pretty funny. But here we do get the Baron and we do just reset. And we are heal building towards the very quick blades because I felt that in this match the very quick blades would be really helpful to land more Ws as well as more Qs. Especially since this team looks like they're not very good at dodging Ws. I've landed so many Ws onto them. Here, dragon is up, and because I have so many stacks, I'm actually able to actually blast the dragon over the wall because I do have the stacks, and I don't want to get stuck in the pit if I don't have a reason to, so I'm just going to blast dragon over the wall, pick up the souls off of the dragon kill, and then we're going to see what we can do. We do have Baron, so we do want to try to push down multiple lanes. You can see Katarina's pushing bot, Jin's pushing top, me and Ornn are pushing mid. So Ornn does give me the ability to buy outside the base. I'm really close to getting the Vori, of course. Here we are trying to get the kill onto Ezreal. Ornn ulti hits. I'm going to hit my ulti as well, but it doesn't end up doing that much damage. Ezreal does survive. Off of the tower kill, I get enough gold to get Navori, and I do purchase the Navori. Here you can see we just basically kill all of them, and game's pretty much over at this point. Entire enemy team is dead except Akali, and she's not going to be able to defend by herself against my entire team. So here we're just waiting for the minion waves to walk in, and now we're going to get the dub. So as usual, I'm going to leave you guys with the stats. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.